Hey guys, it is MissSimReno. If you are returning to the channel, welcome back. And if you are brand new, I am very excited that you decided to join me here today for another apartment renovation. And as you could tell from the title of this video, this is a Christmas themed apartment and my very first Christmas themed build of this year. I guess I can say this year, at least of December, but I do have another one coming probably within the next 2 weeks. However, it is part of something that I am not going to spill the details on quite yet. I am very, very eager to post said build of some kind, but you guys will have to wait a little bit longer before I can spill the details. And now that I've built up hype for something totally that's not this build is for actually two older Sims. So I was thinking that there were like these two old ladies that lived in a big apartment together and they just love knitting. I mean, it's very stereotypical, but I think they love knitting. They have like a bridge club, so they have their friends over to play bridge in their little tiny game room, and they just go all out in Christmas decorating when it is the holiday season. And I had a lot of fun thinking of exactly what elements would be decorated and then what elements would also be reflective of their personalities, because to be honest, I could have gone totally overboard and just done like a Christmas apartment, every inch is covered, and I love that idea and I've seen a few people do that already, especially my friend Rachel Ped. She did like a everything is Christmas apartment and it was incredible. But for this one, I wanted to at least have it be an apartment that you might be able to go ahead and play in and just take away the Christmas decorations. Do you know what I mean? I wanted it to be a little bit more functional. At least that's how I kind of see it. Like if I were to download an apartment for Christmas or another holiday or something like that, I would still want to be able to kind of strip away some of those decorations and have it be a fully decorated themed apartment in some way, shape, or form. So I hope that does make sense. But this apartment was so much fun, and it's one of the Culpepper House apartments that has the functional balcony. And I wanted that because I really miss having functional balconies in apartments. And when I say miss, I'm not talking about like a previous Sims game or anything like that, but I was so disappointed when I jumped into Eco Lifestyle into one of the apartment buildings that we got with that pack, and noticing that the balcony, because there's a balcony on one of the units, you can't actually place like any furniture on it. It's not the owned area. So I was so bummed about that. So I wanted to go ahead and build in this unit here in Myshuno because I wanted there to just be a little bit of an outdoor space. I thought that that would be something that older ladies might love. I know for me, when I'm an older lady, I would love a little outdoor space to like garden and kind of hang out and stuff like that. But anyway, as you can see, we're working on the kitchen and I just wanted it to be really cluttered and really cozy. As always, I actually used the Realm of Magic stove, which I haven't used in what feels like a very, very long time. I think I may have used it in my Malfoy Manor build for Halloween, but it feels like I haven't used it in a long time in more of a regular build. So I was really excited to use that here because I did want the apartment to look older but not completely run down. I just wanted it to reflect that there were older Sims that lived here. So I did use the Realm of Magic wallpaper too, which I love in this swatch. Actually, a lot of the swatches of that wallpaper, I've got to give them credit. I think they're some of the most stunning wallpapers that we have, including some of the ones from Vampire stuff. I was about to say Vampire stuff, and then I just did it. The Vampire game pack. I always do this. But yeah, I just really like this wallpaper, and I thought it fit perfectly for kind of the look I was going for. And I used these really vibrant red curtains from Parenthood, and then just paired them with some Eco Lifestyle curtains just to make sure that, I don't know, I kind of like there to be curtains surrounding windows, like on each side of the window, compared to just the smaller curtains at the top of a window. Does that make sense? I just wanted them to kind of be framed a bit more. And I should probably mention too, this is a needs TLC apartment, and I did play test it. All of the obvious things function just fine. So that little rat hole or mouse hole that you see there, as well as the circuit breaker box and the pipes that'll get a little bit leaky. And I believe there's a vent out in the front entryway too that kind of like oozes this really nasty smelling stuff. That all works. However, I mentioned this in my last TLC apartment renovation that I did, that I wasn't able to get the cockroaches to generate because I know that there are some. So I don't know where they actually pop up in this apartment. So I do apologize if they end up showing up behind something or they're not accessible in some way, because I could not get them in days of playtesting, like Sim days playtesting. I could not get them to show up at all. But as you can see, we're now working on the living room, and what I tried to do to make this seem more Christmas themed, on top of using Christmas decorations, I tried to use furniture that was like red and green as well, at least in the main parts of the apartment. For the individual bedrooms for the Sims, I did make them very personalized. And I was thinking that there was one Sim that loved Christmas more than the other. So it's not like one of them is a total Scrooge and the other one just absolutely adores Christmas. I was thinking that one of them just absolutely loves Christmas, goes over the top. There's like little mini Christmas trees everywhere, even in their bedroom. And then the other Sim, of course, really likes Christmas, but just doesn't go totally overboard. So maybe they're actually two sisters. That would be kind of fun, wouldn't it? If there were two elder sisters that lived together and just absolutely adore decorating for Christmas. And I feel like they knit little like baby beanies and little toddler beanies and onesies for the hospital around like the holidays and stuff like that for the little NICU babies. I love that idea, and I actually really want to make these Sims now that I keep talking about them. But as you can see too, I did use the tool mod just to move that wreath up against the fireplace, because that is one of the walls in this apartment that you can't get rid of. So what would happen is that wreath would keep clipping to that wall. So using the tool mod there was absolutely wonderful. I am getting a bit more comfortable with it. However, it's still a really difficult mod to work with, at least for me. I was never good with math. I was never good with angles at all. So just trying to like remember how the tool is oriented with certain things like rotating objects and stuff like that, it's beyond me. I can't do it. But the living room is pretty much coming together at this point, and I was really excited to use that high-backed love seat from Cats and Dogs. I don't use it very often. I feel as though it kind of cuts off part of a room when you do use it because it is high backed like that. However, I liked using it here because the living room was kind of an awkward shape, to be honest. The entryway almost seems bigger than the living room, but it was just the layout that I felt worked the best, considering how I wanted to divvy up like the bedrooms and the bathrooms and stuff like that. And I believe this actually has the 2 bedrooms because there's one for each Sim, and then there is a laundry room that also has a toilet, so it's kind of like a half bath, and then there's a full bathroom that they share in regards to like a shower and stuff like that. Because if they are sisters, because I'm really liking that idea now, if they are sisters, they probably wouldn't mind sharing a bathroom as much as maybe like 2 roommates. And you may be wondering why I have 2 bookcases there, but as you can see, I did place one of those little Cats and Dogs stools. Technically, they are chairs for your Sims to sit on. I placed one in front of the bookcase just because I was thinking that either a cat curls up there sometimes or they use it to reach some of the books on the higher shelves. So I wanted to make sure I added a bookcase that was accessible, because that one is now blocked. And as you can see, I'm working on the entryway now, and this is where their main Christmas tree is. Now, I know it's a little bit odd considering that I think a lot of folks put Christmas trees in their living room just because it's, you know, where the family kind of hangs out and gathers. It's a good gathering spot, but considering how small the living room was, I just really knew I wasn't going to be able to fit the Christmas tree item in that living room comfortably, like near the fireplace or anything like that. So I decided to put it right in the entryway, because then it would be accessible for placing present piles and decorating the tree if your Sims actively wanted to do that. I just knew it wasn't going to work anywhere else. So even though it's a little bit unusual, I actually kind of like it because it seems very welcoming, considering the entryway is typically, in my opinion, entryways are usually pretty boring because I place, I don't know, like a coat rack and a lamp and maybe a bench and a shoe rack. And there really isn't much else that I put in entryways, maybe a mirror or something. But I just thought it was kind of nice because it's a little bit more of an open space compared to the living room in this build. But I am just picking out a couple of paintings here and trying to decorate some of the bare wall space that we have. And then I end up moving on to the little laundry room that is also, well, when I say attached to the full bathroom, I just mean it's kind of like right next to it. There actually isn't access from the laundry room to the full bathroom. It just would have made it way too claustrophobic, but they do have the stackable, I couldn't even think of the word. They have the stackable washer and dryer in here, and I wanted to make them red just because, you know, Christmas themed. I think we have like a bright green swatch, if my memory served me correctly. I just didn't really like how it looked, but the red one looked nice. And what I end up actually doing, because I did imagine that these two older ladies had at least one cat, maybe even two, is I do move some of those like laundry decorations and cleaning products next to the sink. And I end up putting a litter box there as well, so the cats will have somewhere to go to the bathroom, because that is definitely necessary. And then this is going to be the full bathroom. And again, nothing really special, but I do kind of carry over some different Christmas decorations in there just to really bring the whole theme together. And of course, they're so easy to remove if you wanted it to just be like a plain old apartment outside of the holidays. But also all of the rugs, for the most part, at least a lot of the smaller rugs like the entryway and this little like bath mat are, well, Christmas themed. And then we move on to one of the very first bedrooms. And I was thinking that this bedroom belonged to the sim that was absolutely obsessed with Christmas. So they actually do have a Christmas tree on the right side of their bed instead of this kind of like suitcase stack of books with some random things on top of it look I was going for. I was going to try to just make it look, I think, a little bit more cluttered. However, I really wanted to make sure that I tied in Christmas in almost every single room. But I think the other bedroom too, for the other sim, there might be a small Christmas tree or maybe like a garland or something above the bed, but there really isn't too much because, I don't know, for me, I decorate a lot of the more open and accessible public spaces in my apartment for Christmas and holidays and stuff like that, but I don't really decorate my bedroom. So I was thinking that the bedrooms would be kind of off limits for more of the Christmas decor. So putting a Christmas tree in here was just because of the idea of the Sims that I had for this apartment. However, it is of course very easily removable if you don't want that in a bedroom. I just end up putting a dresser here, and there's an armchair in the corner, as well as the little knitting basket. And there are a few knitting baskets, I believe, throughout this build. And if you guys did not know, if you haven't played with knitting before, or if you just got the pack or something, you do actually have to put the knitting baskets in your Sims inventory for them to be able to use it and actually start crafting items. So when I do put them in builds, they're purely decorative unless you want your Sims to use them as well. I also put one of the little balls of yarn on the floor in the living room because since I was imagining that these Sims have a cat or two, I thought it would be really cute to have a ball of yarn in the living room for the cats to play with. I've never actually seen that happen because I've never played in a build with yarn on the floor with cats when I've had the nifty knitting pack. Basically, I have not played with it. I have not seen it actually happen in my game. I just know that it is possible, so I thought it would be a really cute idea to have at least one ball of yarn out there for the cats to play with. And then I move on to the second bedroom, which is a little bit smaller than the first, and that wasn't necessarily intentional. It just ended up kind of working out that way with the floor plan. And of course, with the apartments, we can't move the windows or anything like that, so kind of have to work around the window placement, but I think it ends up working out just fine. I did have a little bit of trouble at first figuring out exactly how to lay out this bedroom to make both sides of the bed accessible and to ensure that I could get a wardrobe of some kind in the room. I just felt as though skimping out on a wardrobe in this build would have been a little bit odd, so I was able to kind of make it work. And then there are just a few other decorative pieces around the room because I didn't want to block off too much access to things. And of course, I finally used the Skinny Legend itself, that plant from Dine Out. I use that plant, as you guys know, pretty much in every single build that I do, and it took a long time in this build, like in this process. I didn't use it once until I got to the bedrooms. Like, that is insane. It is typically in a public space like a living room or something like that before it ever ends up in a bedroom. It's like one of the first plants I reach for, and I held off. At least I think I did. If I am wrong, you can call me out on it, but I think I held off for a while. I just freaking love that plant so much. It's the best plant that we have in game, and I may have been talking about it in Discord with a few folks this morning, which is why I'm so focused on it. But now I am working on the little tiny game room because I wasn't really sure what to do with this room. It's very tiny, but I end up putting a Don't Wake the Llama table there. But again, I was kind of picturing that you might be able to remove that game on top of the table and just play cards, because I was picturing that it was bridge that they were playing or something like that. I thought that was really appropriate, and I just kind of put the the chalkboard there so they could quote unquote keep score as they kind of keep playing. Maybe they meet like once a week. And then I move on to the balcony where there are a couple of seating areas, I believe an outside dining table as well, and I think a few planter boxes or maybe some vertical gardens like the vertical planters from Eco Lifestyle. However, I'm not sure if I gave them a grill. I just really didn't feel as though it fit for them and like their personalities, but it's definitely something you could add if you would like. And other than that, we are actually almost pretty much to the end of the build. So I hope you guys really did enjoy this one. I cannot wait to post more Christmas builds. Again, look for something very special in the next week or so, and I will catch you guys next time I post a video, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.